Hello and welcome to Conscious Gatherers. My name is
No,
okay. You're
no,
like
I was just listening and saying, don't tread on what I was going to say.
okay. I won't tread on what you have to say, but, yeah, yeah, bombs went off, but I'm not even sure everything that has happened. I don't know if we're going to be privy to all that information and some of the information I got, and I'll go over that in just a bit. But hang in there. I think everything is all is well around the earth, even though it may seem a little bit scary right now. We have what we've been called a scare event going into a real war. Um, I don't see it happening as such. You may call this, a world war. I don't see it as such. And a war with actually within ourselves in a way, because of who and what we are and what we're
well,
starting to realize.
well, we've not only been deceived, but we've been deceiving ourselves, and so we're waking up to that fact, and that creates a war within yourself. So we'll get over it eventually.
Yeah. So hang in there and just relax as much as you can and go on with life. And I've said a few things saying, okay, am I going to be able to do this, travel, blah, 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 which I did go to Florida. And then I'm going to be traveling again in a couple of weeks. So, it's like, is this going to happen? I'm like, what am I doing? I have a friend that might be watching. She'll say, come on. And so you do what you have choices. And so, those choices, if you need to readapt, we did talk about adaptability of 4 weeks ago or something like that. So, that's going on. You may come up with something that you had planned to do, and then those plans needed to be changed. So, whatever it is, and so you adapt to what is best for you.
You live your life.
Yeah.
It may not be the moment that you were expecting,
Yeah.
but keep on living.
I think that was last week. We talked about expectations,
Yeah.
and that sometimes they get, a little muddled, and it's like it's okay because it's like, okay, and then you go on. So some of the things that I am going to mention a little bit of what I was seeing earlier today regarding our solar system. And I noticed I did put that into what we're going to be talking about. And I thought, I wonder why I'm putting this down. So sometimes I'll write things down and not really understand why I'm doing it until later. But it's like, okay, I'm writing it down. So I did. So I did mention that we're going to share insights on the Earth solar system and beyond, galaxy and beyond. But anyway, I'm going to go back to our what I was seeing within our solar system. As I felt I was out there. You ever feel like you're not fully in your body?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened earlier today. And Roy says, "You're going to be like this later."
Is this the way the rest of the day is going to go?
That's exactly how you said it. It's like, yeah, this too shall pass. So I was like, dang. So sometimes you just don't feel totally in your body. That's the way I put it. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna, take a look around. Okay, what else am I doing? Because I could feel myself doing something else. And so that may happen to all of you that are listening, that you feel like you're in more than one place at the same time. Yet it's your consciousness, even though you know your body is right here. Okay,
Or
on
one
this earth.
body.
At least, yeah, that's true. One body. You may see yourself as another body. You may see yourself bilocating or trilocating, and so or whatever. Um, it's just interesting when you really start looking at yourself in a whole new way.
Yeah.
Because we all do this. We may not realize we do this. So if you've had those experiences, you know, um, it's you becoming more conscious of who you are, and just more than this physical being that are staring into the computer right now.
Yeah.
So, um, all right, back to talking about our solar system. My attention was drawn to an area, and I do not know the area, but I felt something was blocking what looked to be, with my consciousness, a dark planet. I could see it spherical, and it was like almost black. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. So, and then I saw it move out on the other side of what was blocking it. Again, I don't know what was blocking it in my vision, but once it moved out, it was lit up. And then I could see it mostly in green, excuse me, and excuse me, green and yellow. More it was in the light, it was turning more green. It was just, changing before my eyes. And so I thought, okay, what is this? Is this like a metaphor, or is there going to be a planet that's going to show itself as green and maybe with some yellow? So I don't know where in the skies. I don't know any of that yet. But if I do, I'll put a comment down. But sometimes I don't find out until later. Just, see stuff, and then I get more of the interpretation later. So, do you have any comments on that?
No.
Okay, so it's like, whoa, it was pretty interesting actually. So you get the visions and you just go with it. So, what else happened earlier today?
Oh,
Yeah,
I do
go
have
ahead.
something to say.
Yeah.
Well, when these sort of things happen to you, it doesn't matter if you feel the urge to tell someone about it. Doesn't matter what they think about it. You're the one who experienced it. And so just be true to yourself. Speak your own truth. If they get it, they get it. If they don't, then move on.
Yeah. So many people are afraid to say anything. Are they going to think I'm crazy? They're not going to understand. And they're going to think I'm crazy and blah, 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 blah. How many times have we said that to ourselves? And it's like,
yeah, that's an old record. It's worn out, doesn't play anymore.
There you go. Yeah. So speak up, speak out,
Be yourself.
Yeah. We've gotten that for a long, long time.
Yeah, because if you're not being yourself, then you can't be present enough to acknowledge and experience the expanse of yourself. I think that's kind of neat. I thought that was kind of profound, actually.
He said acknowledge, and it's right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what are we hiding from?
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna see me for who I truly am, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes around and around.
Or feel like you've been squelched.
Yeah.
And
Been there, done that.
It's like, do we really need to do that anymore? And so it's like, kind of open up your world.
Yeah.
Really, that's what all this is all about. Everything that's going on in the earth is that opening up the world. That doesn't mean just this earth. This means the world that you are. Does that make sense? So, all right. Now, do you want to add to that?
Nope.
No. Okay. All right. I did get some more stuff, but I was going to ask you, should I mention it? Well, since I'm talking about it, I might as well go ahead and mention it,
What
right?
does your heart tell you?
It's like, I'm not sure what to do with this. That's why.
Okay.
And that's, I heard the word origami, and I'm thinking, huh? And I kept thinking of origami. So what is origami? That's when you fold something up to make, a piece of paper, and you can fold it and make an airplane or whatever.
Yeah, so it's transforming one thing into another.
There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I heard origami, and I thought man is in that name. And so it must be a new word. So there you go. But it was
A Bev word.
Her Bev word that I channeled. But yeah. So origami. And I heard the folding of man. The folding. I'm like, okay. And then I saw like a fan that's folded up and down. Okay. And you push it together, it folds flat, and you open it out. Okay. I was seeing that. And it was and I was told much like a fan, of course, ins and outs of manifestation. So we create our own reality, and it's like, okay, what are we, manifesting? And so we're moving out of this old control system of manifesting within that old system to start a whole new life.
Yeah. What does that allow us to do? But to become more.
Of who we really are.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
to exceed that.
So yeah, it's really it's quite interesting as we're going through these times. All right. All right. I'll gonna go ahead and read my insight. You ready for that, or is anything else you want to go through?
Uh, well, go ahead. Go ahead. We can do that, and I can always go back to this other thing.
Trying to remember what the other thing was. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, we did two different meditations
Mhm.
today, and the first one, what I was seeing was my consciousness flying into these different places, different circumstances, and like like flying up over a waterfall to where the body of water is that was falling, and kept on going, and that becoming a forested area, and finally I came to this cave, and the cave had dark openings, and I said, "No, I'm not going there. I'm not doing that anymore." Now, usually in my meditations, my habit has been to just go with the flow and see where it takes me. Well, this time something changed. I took control. I said, "No, my path is filled with light." And right at that point, I saw these train tracks and this blob of light over the train tracks. In other words, my train was a train of light. So, you know, exactly what I said was going to happen from now on took place. My life is filled with light. And so, then I saw several different things, but that was the main point of it all was that I was no longer going to be manipulated by anyone or anything, including myself. I was going to open it up to be free of all of the things that had ever held me back, and so be it, you know. Let the chips fall where they may. They were going to go the way I wanted, and we have choices in this life each and every moment, and it's time for us to step up to the plate. Are we going to hit the ball or not? So I decided in this meditation that I was going to hit the ball. My ball was made of light, and it was going to go far. So
I want to bring up, you use the word manipulated by myself. And it's like, and at first I'm like, oh. And then it's like, wow, have we not manipulated ourselves into believing that we're less than,
yeah,
or we can't do it? I don't know how many times I said, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I may hurt, I may hurt myself, or I may hurt another. She's like, they make, again, are they going to think I'm stupid? They think I'm weird. All these things that go through our mind. It's like, what are they going to think? What are they going to think? It's like,
yeah. I when I was in elementary school, I was always taller than everybody else. It's just the way it was. I grew fast, and I was actually told by my teacher, now when you go out to recess, you have to be careful playing with these other kids because you could hurt them, you know. I swallowed that, and I believed it, that my very presence here on this planet was going to hurt somebody. And so I was constantly holding myself back. And I'm finished with that. It doesn't fly anymore. So thank you, teacher, and thank you for helping me to wake up because that's been a big one.
Yeah, just in order to get something done. I mean, sometimes I literally say, when I kick myself in the ass to get myself going. So it's like, sometimes it works. It usually does because it's like, okay, I'm doing this. And instead of holding back or being, we used the word timid earlier in
Yeah.
our discussions. And
Yeah.
it's like, what are we doing to ourselves? It's like, no, enough's enough.
Yeah.
Of self-manipulation. And, a lot of us don't even realize we're doing it, or do we? A lot of times we don't. I don't want to. And I remember getting, for one of the insights for the podcast, and I had gotten similar words to, you don't want to upset the apple cart, even though all the apples are rotten.
Yeah.
And that really got me.
Big.
Because I've done that so many times. Is it going to do any good to even bring this up? I need to say that quite a bit. And it's like, okay, is there another reason why you're holding back? And so it's like, is that for you? Because all of a sudden you're like, you went out, out of the cage, so to speak.
Yeah.
And if you're being pressured to hold back, speaking your mind, or whatever it may be. Just, you obviously use discernment and you want to treat somebody else kindly. However, there's no reason why you should be treated unkindly. And you have every right to be the strong you and who you are.
Yeah, and it's quite a balancing act when you're interfacing with other people. I mean, it's a constant balancing act. And the more people that you interface with, the more balance you have to try to incorporate there. And every situation is different. So, it's something else living here.
Yeah, it is. Well, what I just got to thinking about, because, I mentioned earlier in this podcast that I saw a planet that was dark, and then also it was pushed down into the light, and then I could see the colors. Now, am I going to go around telling everybody that? Like, what? I may mention it to some people that would understand, but no, do I want to blast? I've already blasted through the podcast, but I think you know what I mean. Just going out there and speaking, that sort of thing. And so, yeah, I mean, there is some circumstances where, they might look at you funny, but if they look at you funny, that's their issue, not yours.
Yeah.
And you go on. They'll realize that you're not crazy, maybe.
And it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's true. It's their issue, not yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're crazy humans, aren't we?
No, we're not crazy.
Yeah. That's exactly what
we're unique.
Did you realize what I just did, right? Like, wow. We would do that. We don't know it until somebody like Miss Royce here and catches us. So anyway, just look at yourself closely.
Uh-oh.
Oh, excuse me.
There we are.
Okay, yeah, I moved the mouse. So, like, what happened there? All right, excuse me here. Okay, I'm going to go into going into my insight for the day, and it's very similar to what I've received in the past, but it really means a lot to what's going on at this now moment. So, I'll go first, and then you're going to follow up. A conundrum. To believe or not believe has left many on your planet in a conundrum. Use your gut, and that was underlined. Use your gut feel to the best of your ability. If you have the need to know. That's talking to me. Probably talking to all of us, but definitely was talking to me. Do I really need to know this? Maybe, maybe not. America and the world is about to do an about face. The pillars of old are falling. Chains are loosening. And the bullhorn is about ready to sound. It actually is more like the blare of trumpets to help bring in the new age of prosperity. And that is prosperity in all areas of life, all areas. Indeed, a golden age is upon you as the clutter is being cleaned up. Huh. We have discussed the actual cracking of the earth. You noticed a few of my last podcasts, I kept seeing things crack, including the earth, the moon, something else I saw crack.
Yeah, that's the outer shell.
Yes, yes. Now I'm going to start over on that sentence again. We have discussed the actual cracking of the earth, your moon, and what is known as the old guard. Ever wonder why it is called the old guard? Emphasize guard. No more will you be guarded from knowing the real you. That energy will not sustain itself in the golden age.
Here, here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. The old guard, like, what are we guarding ourselves from? Or guarding, what are we being guarded from? We're like, nope, it's cracking open. So, all right, please share.
Okie dokie. The age of remembrance. Humanity is truly in the midst of becoming free, becoming wise, becoming self-realized. We are approaching the age of remembering who we are and where we are going. But even more than that, who we want to be and where we want to go from here. We are conjuring up the keys that unlock the cages which have ensnared us, even the cages that are invisible, the ones that are just as formidable as if they were made of steel. Hard though it may be, the invisible cages are often the ones that are harder to unlock. Their appearance took place while we were asleep to the realization of our own self-worth. Therefore, our freedom from such cages can only be realized when we awaken to our own self-worth. There is much to be done on the earth plane at this time, but we must be awake to do our part in ushering in this new age of peace, this new age of wisdom, and the implementation of wonder. Awaken, all ye people of the beautiful planet Earth. Awaken to the beauty of the light shining within, for therein lies the focus of our self-worth. Namaste, which translates to the God within me recognizes the God within you. So we were both saying the same thing from two different points of view.
Yeah. We got it yet? We're getting self-worth.
Yep.
Yeah. How many regimes are out there suppressing the people, especially women or whatever?
And children.
Yeah. It's like, what are we doing? It's like, do we need to do this anymore? No. No, let the children blossom in their own wonder and nourish that. Work with the children, ask them questions, or play with them, but let them speak. And at times they may speak back to you, And then you can look at them. I have grandkids. they understand. You give them the look. So, so, but how many times do we say, "Be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet"? Which,
Squelching that bit of wisdom that we really needed to hear. Boy, I tell you what, it's true what they
Yeah.
say in biblical text about out of the mouths of babes comes profound things.
I just thought of something that my daughter, who's now a mother and older, much older, but anyway, when she was little, evidently, I was on her for a case. I have no idea what it was, and even at the time, I didn't realize it until she goes. I think she might have been 2 or 3. She goes, huh, "Mom, just let me be me." I'm like, boy, did that get me. Obviously, to this day, it gets me.
Yeah.
And I recall my brother-in-law was there, and I looked at him, and I thought, what did I say? And then he repeated whatever it was at that time, and it was like 40 years ago, but it hasn't left me. And I thought, wow, look what I was doing.
It was
Back
that
off,
thing that
Mom.
woke you up. You know,
Oh,
it's like
certainly.
we get those things that wake us up, and usually they're quite memorable.
Hmm.
They make the point.
I do. I do. At times, I still find myself being a little protective of the grandkids, um, and sometimes a little bit too protective. But then I thought, okay, everything's going to be okay. Let them be. So, yeah, I have to talk to myself, and that's unlocking those cages that you have mentioned that
Yeah,
we have built. It's like, wow,
yeah,
what are we doing?
the invisible ones.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's what's happening now, and understanding who our true identity is. It's like, come on, let's get on with it, because we are, we are going into the golden age.
Yeah.
So everything that's happening on this earth is not the cages anymore. It's to open all the cages. And it's like, let's go and fly free, so to speak. Okay.
And when you unlock your own cages, you're doing that on behalf of everyone else too, because it is very true, the saying of where we go one, we go all.
Yeah.
We, the energy that it takes and the energy exuded by any kind of movement like that is absorbed by everything else around us. And so it's not just our own freedom being realized, but it's the freedom of everyone else too. It's like that the butterfly thing, the
Yeah.
butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, one butterfly moves on the side of the globe over here, and it's the energy is felt clear across on the other side of the globe. So it's amazing how interconnected we are, because we are one body. And once we really realize that, we're going to be going somewhere, because that's a very profound thing.
It's interesting because I didn't share this with you earlier, but it's something I wrote. She's teen, and it's humanity, wake up. It is now that your world is transitioning. See yourselves holy. That's WHOLLY. See the all of you and leave the shackles behind. And those
Here
shackles
we
go
are.
deeper than we ever even imagined. So it's, the old guard is partially us.
Us.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you getting this yet? So, all right. Well, thank you. Does anybody have any comments that they want to make? If not, we appreciate your listening, and we would love for you to share this, and get a little wider audience would be nice. You know what? It's not necessary, but it's because it's going out anyway. It's
Yeah.
going into the fields.
Yeah,
And
just
so,
like that energy of the butterfly. What we're doing is being felt, regardless.
How many times have, and I've noticed it with you and also myself, where I say something, whatever the words are. Right now, I'm trying to think of what that might be. But then all of a sudden, I'm hearing other people say the same exact thing, same words,
Yeah.
same thought. And so that's, out in the ether, so to speak.
Yeah.
More
In the
photogenic.
field.
Yeah, in the field. Excuse me. So, it's in the field, and then some of us hear it, some of us, just it goes over, and it's okay. But eventually, it may hit you in the face, and it may not smell very good. I know.
Ew.
I'm not sure where that one came from. Maybe that about in the field.
I'm sure it brought amusement to somebody.
You. So anybody else talks about this. So it may happen. All right. All right. I think that's enough of that. But anyway, thank you all. Interesting times. Hang in there, because this golden age is definitely upon each of us and all of us, because we are not separate. Yeah, and we're becoming more whole within ourselves. So it's just actually wonderful, wonderful times that we have volunteered to be here and chosen to be here to help bring in this wonderful new age of prosperity.
Yes, and I wanted to say thank you very much to all those who are serving, whether you are serving in armed forces, or whether you are serving, whether you're a fireman, a policeman, a nurse, a doctor, a um, energy worker, whatever it is you're doing, a janitor, anybody.
A farmer.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely the farmers. Whatever it is that you're doing of service, thank you so much. We are so grateful to you. I don't care what color your skin is or where you come from, doesn't matter. We're all human beings.
And keep in mind too, you're talking about being service to others, and
Mhm.
it is, and even you doing what you love is service to you, and that becomes a service to others.
Yeah,
So it all goes together.
yep.
So.
And please, it's summertime here where we are in South Carolina. Please be mindful of the animals, because it has gotten very, very, very hot. Make sure that the animals have fresh water, fresh food, and shelter, because if you had to be outside with no place to get into shade,
Mhm.
you'd make a change quickly. So please do that on behalf of them.
Right now, it's hotter outside than it is inside my body.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 100. So, and I think that's good. Swath of the United States is 100 degrees. So
Yeah.
hang in there, stay cool, make sure you get enough to drink, and keep yourself well hydrated. Thank you. We love you all. Go ahead.
Is July the 4th, is that going to take place before our next podcast?
I think so.
Okay, I'm sure that I can speak for both of us.
Okay, go ahead.
Happy July 4th. It's a time of realizing not just freedom that we experience in this country, but freedom within that which we can express for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So my hat's off to all of you. I love you all, and I know you know that, but I do.
Yeah, she does. So do I. All right, wonderful, and have a great 4th, and the next few days, see what happens. But don't despair, because I think everything's going to turn out beautifully as we go through this transitioning. All right, good day.
Bye.